So if y'all follow my videos, y'all know that this is kind of uncharted territory for me. I've got a couple of 2-cycle chainsaws here that I got as a lot of with a whole bunch of mowers earlier in the year that I just kind of put aside and was going to just sell off the way that they were. And now I'm kind of want to investigate a little bit, see if I can get at least one of these going. I know one of them will crank and will run, and the other one will not. So I'm pretty sure that the one with the bar here is toast. It's really hard to pull, and even with fuel and fire, it won't crank. So I think they run it too lean, and carburetor's bad on it. Or not the carburetor, but the engine's bad on it. The other one will run. So my goal is, because the chainsaws aren't exactly 100% the same, but they're close enough. A lot of components are very similar. The body is a little bit different on them, but this one's a little bit older, and then this one is a newer one. I think it's only like 4 or 5 years old, maybe. So we're gonna test out and see what we can do here. This one doesn't have a bar and chain on it, which is kind of has me curious. But the first order of business is I want to try and get this one running. It will run. I just sprayed a little bit of starter fluid in it to see if I could get it to kick over, because I know it's not good for them to run like that very long. So I have a little bit of time today, and I'm waiting on a few parts to come in for a tiller. So I'm going to try and see what we can do here. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this one's bad. I put fuel, sprayed starter fluid directly into the spark plug hole, and I tested and saw that it had a spark on it too. And either way, it still wasn't working. So we're gonna look at this one first. We're gonna take the 4 bolts off of the top here, or there's may only be 3. There's only 3, excuse me. There's little hex heads, and or 6 points, and should be able to take it off. I mean, you can see the body is pretty good on it. It's been used, but it hasn't been terribly abused, I don't think. Might just need a little carb work, and we'll see what we got here. I'll have to put the bar and chain on it too, but I want to find out if it runs first. So let me break this apart and look inside. So for those that are kind of playing along with me here, I took this cover off that holds the air filter housing, and the throttle actually kind of acts as a stop for the throttle there too. You have to slide the rubber piece out of this and just slide it back in order, to expose the wire there to get the throttle undone from that, and because that's what kind of holds the throttles back. So now I have the carburetor off, and it's always good. 9 out of 10 of us now have one of these smartphones. It's always good to just go ahead and just snap a picture of what it looks like before you take it off. That way you have some sort of reference when you put it back on. And so now the primer bulb, I can tell you that the primer bulb almost looks like I've got some sort of blockage in the carb because the primer bulb isn't coming back on it. So I'm going to take this carburetor off. We're going to kind of look in it and see what we need to do to it. And I think I'm going to have to play along here. It looks like I'm going to have to take this screw out the top. I've got a flat head here, so that should work. To get this piece off and away from kind of the high-low cover here. Actually, I might just need to pull the high-low cover off. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know where it's mounted to or anything like that. Let's see. It's the one thing I don't like about working on 2 cycles is that everything's kind of very small and minuscule, and it's a little bit difficult to kind of work and get into working on them. However, if I can get this running, it might change my mind about them, but we'll see. So let me figure out how to do this with one hand, and instead of wasting time, I'll kind of explain to you all a little bit later, and see what we can do. As you can see, the fuel lines for the most part are in very good condition. Almost looks like it's got new fuel lines right down there, if you can see. So again, let me kind of work and see what I can do here, and I'll check back in just a second. So right off the bat, I can tell you that the carb needs a little bit of work. As you can see, I got some sawdust actually inside the carburetor there. So you can see that hole right there by the fuel line. Looks like I'm going to have to blow it out. And that was not, I did not cause that. So it was in there already. It's a Marlboro carburetor, like they always put on these chainsaws. Very, very common chainsaw here, Poulan Pro. So now, actually, let's see how the primer works now. I'm still getting a little, I got some sort of blockage in there, because you can see the primer bulb's very slow at retreating. So now I got to figure out how the whole deal comes off here. Hopefully it won't be too bad, but let me work on getting it off now. So I do have everything taken apart now. Had the top of the carburetor off, which I kind of showed. Everything looks good inside there, pretty clean. Got the bottom part of it off here. Looks pretty good. I think I had just that little bit of sawdust that got into the, I can show you under there. Looks very, very clean. I got a little bit of that sawdust that got up under. Kind of got where the screen was, which I haven't put the screen back on, but the screen was there. I cleaned out that hole. I've got air going through it. The screen's sitting over there by the screwdriver. I'll put the screen back in it. Actually, I'll show you all since I'm on camera right now. So the screen, very small tear in it, but it's cleaned out again. So that's a good thing. Like I said, the fuel lines look really, really good. Really good. So not really worried about those either. Primer bulb, so you can see it's priming fine now. It was just something was caught up in it, so it didn't want to prime. Primer bulbs are easy to put in these anyways. So let me now put it all back together and try and start this thing up, see what we might have. We might have two cycle going here, which would be a first for me. So let's see. So I think that this carburetor might have been taken off and put back on before, because I'm pretty sure that the fuel line got pinched in between the carburetor and the engine. Because now it's priming great. Probably got it over primed, but hey, let's try and see if this thing will crank for us. I did get it to kick over just a second ago, but it wouldn't stay running. So see if we can get this thing to stay running this time. That's a start. was. I just got to get it to stay running, which I kind of figure out how to do the low side and the high side on these. I might just break down about that special tool. I've heard that you can like take an angle grinder and gouge it out so that you can put a flathead in it and adjust it that way, which I might do. It's not too hard to take this off either, just to adjust it. So I might do that. If I get it running, I'll restart this video, but we might have problems to this 2-cycle here. Alrighty y'all, so this is full choke right now. Looks a little strange with no chain and bar and chain on it, but so full choke, running good. As soon as I do that, the like picks up and turns off. So I think what might be happening is I just need to do a little carb adjustment on it, and see what we can do with it. I was running on choke and won't run on regular. I guess it's running a little bit too lean, so I'm gonna pull out the low side a little bit, see if I can get it to run. Which might be a little bit of an adventure since I don't have the tool necessary for this. Might break out the angle grinder and turn it into a little screwdriver deal, but we'll see. Better off than we started though. Okay y'all, so we might be in business here. What I did is, in lieu of a spline tool, which comes in pretty handy if you don't want to angle grind down your screws here or don't have a retrofit for it, use a pair of needle nose pliers. I'm not going to adjust it now, but I didn't really touch the high side. I did adjust the low side. I couldn't tell you if I moved it in, moved it out, moved it wherever, and also screwed in the idle screw right there, probably about 4 or 5 turns. And so as a result, I think I got this thing to run pretty good. So let's see what we have here. It's a warm start because I've been working on it, but let me crank it up. That's no choke right there. All right. So that's good. It's a little smoky, but just run it. Got a little bit of bar and chain oil in it already. So I just go ahead and put it all back together now. This little cover here to go over the idle screw and all the other stuff here. I'll put that on. Put the air filter back on because it's not good to run these things without air filters. As you can see, there's already some dust in there from me just running it for a couple minutes. And I'll put that little rubber piece on, put the cover on. I'll take the bar and chain off of this one. I was looking at the carburetor designs here. And there are 2 different carburetors. I know the one that y'all saw on here is a Walboro. This is another type. It might be a Zama or another type carburetor. Can't really tell because I'm not hugely experienced in 2-cycle stuff. This is just kind of for 2-cycle stuff. This is kind of me learning my wings here as y'all are watching me. So like I said, let me put the covers back on it. I was thinking about interchanging the carburetors, but that wouldn't have worked because they're 2 different carburetors. So I'll put this carburetor back on it, or it's already on it. I'll put all the stuff back on it, and we'll put the bar and chain on next. So I've got the bad chainsaw here. I'm gonna put the bar and chain on this one. You got your 2 1/2-inch bolts here. All you gotta unscrew them. We're gonna do this together because I've never taken a bar and chain off of a chainsaw before. Ooh, look at all that gooiness there. Let's see. Design's a little bit different, but let's see if this will work. Okay. So that, I'm just looking at stuff, guys. Never really done this before, so let me actually put this down so I can have a little bit more of a It's a little bit different here, but same concept. So I was like, there's no way in the world that they could have changed it that much. You see the little chain where you hook chain ends on the outside, and it's on the inside on this one. So let me put the chain in. Let's see if I can get this on camera. This has already became a lengthy video. I hope y'all have enjoyed it though. So as y'all saw, I slid the bar on. I've got the chain where it needs to be, and now I just have to go through the painstaking process of putting the chain on, which I'm not going to waste time on camera doing, but I will put the chain on, link by link, and put it all together. So we've got this down in the test bed now, with the chain on it. I just finally was able to feed the chain around it. And so let's start it up, and I got a log back there, so we can see what we can do with it. fire safety goggles. There you go. That's still spinning, but well, still cut off that. So let's see if it starts again. I think my camera's dying, but y'all saw it cut a tree, so I'll leave the video here. Again, first 2-cycle fix for me, which is awesome. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know some of y'all will be happy to see that I worked on a 2-cycle piece of equipment. So thank y'all again for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.